How did someone fail upward in the military spectacularly? Lieutenant Colonel Marcus Webb was the most incompetent officer I ever served under, yet somehow he kept getting promoted while better leaders got passed over. It started when he was a captain at our base in Germany. His first major assignment was organizing a joint training exercise with British forces. Simple coordination mission. Webb managed to schedule it during Oktoberfest, forgetting that half our personnel had already requested leave. Instead of admitting the mistake, he convinced command this was intentional, called it cultural integration training, said mixing with German civilians would improve international relations. The exercise was a disaster. Drunk soldiers stumbling through mock battles, equipment left unguarded while guys went to beer tents. One private got so hammered he tried to surrender to a bratwurst vendor. Webb wrote it up as a groundbreaking success in cultural diplomacy. Got commended for innovative approaches to alliance building, promoted to major 6 months later. His next assignment was running supply logistics for a desert training rotation. Webb had never worked supply, knew nothing about inventory management, but convinced everyone he was revolutionizing the system. He implemented what he called just-in-time delivery protocols. Sounded impressive. Reality was, he had no idea how much food, water, or ammunition we needed. Day 3 of the exercise, we ran out of MREs. Day 5, no clean water. Day 7, units were sharing single magazines between entire squads. Soldiers started getting sick from dehydration. Training scenarios collapsed because nobody had functional equipment. Medical evacuations for heat exhaustion tripled. Webb's solution? He declared the shortages were realistic combat conditions that would forge warrior spirit through adversity. Wrote a paper about it for Military Review magazine. Higher command ate it up. Here was an officer brave enough to push soldiers beyond their comfort zones. Webb got promoted to lieutenant colonel and transferred to the Pentagon. At the Pentagon, he was assigned to strategic planning. His job was analyzing enemy capabilities and recommending force deployments. Webb had never been in combat, but he talked a good game. His first major briefing was about insurgent tactics in Iraq. He'd spent 2 weeks reading Wikipedia and watching CNN. Somehow turned this into a presentation claiming we were fighting the war all wrong. Webb argued that conventional forces were obsolete. Future conflicts would be won through asymmetric psychological operations. He recommended replacing infantry battalions with social media specialists. The generals loved his outside-the-box thinking. Here was a fresh perspective challenging military orthodoxy. Webb became the Pentagon's go-to guy for innovative warfare concepts. Meanwhile, actual combat veterans were getting their careers stalled because they disagreed with Webb's theories. Colonels with multiple combat tours were passed over for promotion while Webb climbed higher. His masterpiece came during the Iraq surge debate. Webb wrote a position paper arguing that sending more troops was backwards thinking. Instead, he proposed victory through strategic withdrawal. The idea was to retreat from all forward positions, then use satellite technology to monitor insurgent movements. When they gathered in large groups, we'd eliminate them with precision strikes. Webb called it the Webb Doctrine, presented it to congressional committees as the future of warfare. Politicians loved having a military expert who agreed with their cost-cutting measures. The paper got leaked to the press. Webb became a media darling, appearing on news shows as the visionary officer challenging military groupthink. Book deals started rolling in. By 2008, Webb was a full colonel running an entire training command. Units under his leadership had the worst readiness ratings in the military, but somehow this never stuck to him personally. He blamed poor performance on legacy thinking from subordinate officers, claimed his methods needed time to show results, requested transfer to a more progressive command structure. Webb's final promotion came after he volunteered to oversee base closures during budget cuts. Other officers saw this as career suicide, but Webb turned it into gold. He rebranded base closures as strategic consolidation initiatives, argued that smaller, more efficient installations would create a leaner, deadlier fighting force. Every base he closed was described as eliminating bureaucratic inefficiency. Every job cut was streamlining command structures. Webb made himself the poster boy for military reform. He retired as a brigadier general in 2012. Now he runs a defense consulting firm, charging huge fees to teach adaptive leadership strategies to corporate executives. The kicker? 3 of the bases Webb closed had to be reopened within 5 years. His revolutionary training methods were quietly scrapped by his successors. But Webb keeps failing upward. His consulting firm has government contacts worth millions. He's writing his 3rd book about leadership excellence. Meanwhile, the sergeants and captains who actually knew how to fight wars got pushed aside by his constant self-promotion and buzzword strategies. That's how you fail upward spectacularly in the military. Talk loudly, blame others, and always have a PowerPoint ready to explain why your disasters were actually victories.